Today I worked at Wegmans from 9:30 in the morning to 6 p.m. I took my first 15-minute break at around 1:30 p.m. or after 4 hours of work. As is my plan whenever I've had a shift long enough that I got 2 breaks of 15 minutes and a 30-minute lunch. I took my 30-minute lunch roughly from 4 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Though it was around 4:07 by the time I got to the cafe part of the supermarket where I always have lunch. Either lunch, whether that's during a 15-minute break or during my actual lunch if my shift that day is long enough for me to get a lunch. I had a pretty big pack of cooked sushi that my mom got yesterday. From the Wegmans by her place. Along with a 16-ounce bottle of Upstate Farms branded whole milk. I'm having a glass of whole milk currently. This one being from a new gallon. I believe it's generic Wegmans branded whole milk. That Dad got. When getting whole gallons of milk, both my mom and dad tend to get Wegmans generic. I took my second and last 15-minute break at 5:30 p.m. At one point I asked about not being scheduled for April 8th. Since that's the day of the eclipse. This was my second time asking. During a shift. An employee, coworker that I view as a supervisor, even though last time I asked which was the last time I worked, about a week or so ago, I was told that I wouldn't be scheduled that day. But when I asked the second time, I was told that the Wegmans I work at would be planning some fun activities for the eclipse. A worst case scenario, I could ultimately take off for that shift, whatever shift I get. Without having to call in sick. I'm just not sure at this point. If it would be better to see what the Wegmans supermarket I work at has planned, or to decide between which of my parents I want to view the eclipse with. Depending on what the town I live in, what, if any, plans they have regarding the eclipse. Throughout my shift, I pretty much switched between restocking the banana section from the banana runner, which I had to reload. I recall having to reload once or twice. with 3 stacks of 4 full banana boxes. Getting them all from the old pallet of full banana boxes, which featured bananas that were yellow or fully ripe. Though at one point a customer asked if we had any greener bananas. So at one point, I think during the early afternoon, I went into the produce holding area part of the employees only warehouse. And took a full banana box from the new pallet. And I could tell which pallet was new and old because the new pallet was essentially full, while the old pallet at that time only had about a dozen to a handful of full banana boxes left. So I took a full banana box from the new pallet, brought it out to nearby the banana section of the produce department. As I assumed that the new pallet would have greener bananas, and I turned out to be correct in that assumption. The customer was satisfied. He was satisfied with the greenness of the bananas in that full banana box from the new pallet. And after taking one bundle from that full banana box, I restocked the banana section using what was left of that box, in addition to what was on the banana runner at the time. Whenever I wasn't restocking the banana section of the produce department, I was restocking the convenience wall, which is the wall on the left side of the produce department. And even so, it isn't really much of a wall, more like a sort of vertical shelf, tall shelf with tall, wide shelf with slanted levels. or at least it's to the left when from the perspective of being right in front of the banana section and looking out towards the front entrance area of the supermarket. Throughout my shift, I restocked from about four convenience runners, or four runners dedicated to convenience items for that convenience wall. That in general were pretty full with cardboard boxes of various sizes, with one product or another from the of products that are restocked into the convenience wall. The convenience wall is called the convenience wall because it primarily features various bagged greens and pre-made salads. Those are where the bistro Wegmans generic pre-made salads are found, but on the convenience wall there are also various salad kits. And that's also, the convenience wall is also where the diced section is. And at one point I dabbled a little into that. At the very start of my shift, I dabbled a little into the hard items section. And towards the end of my shift, pretty much around the time, pretty much right after I took my lunch, I restocked the tropical section a little bit. And throughout my shift, I asked some passing customers if they needed help with anything, and they generally politely declined that, saying that they didn't need help with anything. But generally, if a customer needed help with anything, they got my attention, not the other way around. It's pretty rare for a customer to reveal there's something they would want help with. In most cases, it's looking for a specific product within the produce department, but it's pretty rare for that request for assistance to be made after I offered if they needed help with anything. If I'm not asked to, when I wasn't asked if to help find a specific product, then it was asking if I knew the price for a product they had already found. and that they expressed interest in buying, usually as a result of there being either a missing price tag or a covered price tag. My arms and legs are a little sore currently, but it doesn't really bother me. What I do at working for the produce department at Wegmans is basically the opposite of a HIIT workout. Instead of being high intensity and short, it's low intensity and long. I recall naturally waking up today around 6 in the morning. Waking up the last time today. And roughly around 8 in the morning, I had what was left of the bag of shrimp chips that I got from the Tai Chi bubble tea. Me and my mom ate out at on March 8th. What I just had was chili homemade by my dad's mom. The sprinkled cheese was something my dad added, and I think it was the only thing he added after being given that homemade chili while visiting his mom at his parents' place. I recall seeing my dad at checkout right after I ended my shift today. And then he drove me first to my mom's place so I could pick up some clothes and my laptop, the chargers to my laptop and my phone, my mouse, my computer mouse, and my headphones. And then my dad drove me to his place. Around 8:45 in the morning, I had the equivalent of a few eggs, of scrambled eggs, with my first and only cup of plain coffee for today. Although my mom decided to put what was left of that plain cup of coffee at around 9 in the morning or so into an aluminum thermos or stainless steel thermos, though I'm leaning towards aluminum. And I ended up finishing the coffee during the car drive from my mom's place to the Wegmans I work at. And I had that coffee completely finished at the very least, before the start of my shift today. And then out of that same thermos, I had some water, filling that thermos up with essentially with cooler water twice. This being during the morning to early mid-afternoon hours of my shift today. Was when I finished the coffee. Was when I had the water.